Hi, welcome to my Dover Castle adventure. I do choose my times unwisely, but this is the only time I could get out to do the filming, and it's as foggy as anything. So as I turn this little bend here, you normally get a great view of the castle. It's completely shrouded in fog, but that could lend itself to quite an ethereal or mystical adventure. So what I'm going to do is start the video by driving into the castle, and I think it's one of the few castles, yeah, you can just about make it out there. It's one of the few castles that you can actually drive into the grounds to park. I can't think of actually any others. So what I'm going to do is take you on a little walk around the castle. There's many things to see. So let's get inside. I'll show my ticket and then we'll start this little adventure. Green light so we can go in. This is quite exciting. You get to drive in through one of the gates. No portcullis here. Cannon's Gate this is. As we drive around, you get to see the war tunnels just ahead there. Underground hospital and the war command tunnels. You can walk up the outer bailey past the Naffy restaurant. I'll cover quite a lot of the things here today. And of course you'll come here and it'll be beautifully sunny. I wanted to go up the top. I guess they're anticipating a lot of people. They're directing us to where we need to park. Right, let me show my ticket and then we'll get going. Okay, I'm in. It's going to be a good day despite the misty weather. Now, looking at the price list, if you're not a member, £26 per individual or £68 if you're a family member. But we're going to look at some of the early history, the medieval Dover, Dover's defences, the garrison life and Dover at war. So let's have a look at the map. Now it's quite substantial grounds and I think it claims to be the biggest castle in England, but that's challenged by Windsor Castle. We are here, so I'm going to take in the Lighthouse and St Mary and Castro Church. Obviously we'll do the outer bailey and the inner bailey so that we can take in the castle. Might get down there. The war rooms are here, but I can't go in there. There's the lookout post. Yeah, plenty to see. So what I'll do is take us around some of the sections. I don't think I want to visit everything. English Heritage suggest that you spend 2 to 3 hours walking around here. But it's bleak and it's cold. And it looks mysterious. I can imagine Merlin suddenly coming out and King Arthur. But we'll certainly look at the keep. We'll look at the garrison life because there's a museum for the Queen's Regiment, Princess of Wales Regiment. We can look at the Roman lighthouse, which is just up there. I don't know if you can see it in the background. And I'll create some chapters. You can jump around and, you know, if there's a section you don't like, jump to the next chapter. So the first task then is getting into the inner bailey. We get to walk through. Is this Carlton's Tower? Doesn't that look mysterious? No climbing. Do not climb on any of the ramparts because you might fall off. Wow, look at that. Carlton's Gate. I thought it was Carlton's Gate. 13th century. Upper part was altered in the late 15th century. So we then enter into the inner bailey. And this is where, God, you can't even see the castle today. I thought I was going to get a nice thumbnail. But it'd be in the inner bailey that the workings of the castle would happen, wouldn't it? You'd have the king and his entourage inside the keep. But all the outside, and we've seen it in many movies, where they've got the little stalls and the cattle and the sheep and the goats. and people doing trading, basically supporting the castle. Where do we go? Let's go up to the Roman Pharos. St. Mary and Castro Church and the Roman Pharos. This is one of only 3 still standing lighthouses, Roman lighthouses, in the world. 2 of which I believe are in the UK. And it stands 5 stories high and is the tallest still standing or single standing Roman structure in the UK. And we do have Roman structures around. There's Richbrook Roman Fort up the road at Sandwich. Who'd do a tour of a castle in the rain? And when you think of the Roman baths, and also Lullingstone Roman Villa, my video at Eynsford. But they're all flat, aren't they? Lower ground. So this is the tallest still standing Roman structure, the lighthouse. Should we go inside? Let's go and have a look inside. I can see this is going to be a dreary day, but we're standing inside the Roman lighthouse. Look at it with the mist coming through at the top. Very magical. And these are old ancient stones built by the Romans. You can actually stand there. Let's go and stand on the little platform which they've conveniently built for us. So you come and stand here. No different to where I was stood, really. See the mist blowing in. Is that a good thumbnail? Lovely. It's actually quite magical, isn't it, standing inside something like this? Has a kind of feel of Rochester Castle. The way it's got all the floors, 5 different floors, but all abandoned. Right, let's go and have a look at St. Mary and Castro Church. Said to be of Saxon origin and then rebuilt around the 1800s. And this church is one of the, if not the oldest Saxon church that still holds services. This ancient and active place of worship is open for visiting, quiet contemplation and prayer. Let's go in. So now I'm going to take you into the inner bailey, where hopefully it won't be so wet, where we can see the keep, the Great Hall and the military museum. Now there was a fort here when William the Conqueror took siege of Britain, and he demolished it, and you can understand why, and I'll show it. Well, I can't really show it because it's foggy and rainy, but he built a fort here when he arrived in 8 days, and that was a Motte and Bailey, so on the hill, wooden structure, wooden surrounds, picture here. But in 1100s, Henry II built the castle. Palace gate. So as we come into the Inner Bailey, you see the Great Keep or the Great Tower. You've got Arthur's Hall or the Great Hall and the museums. But let's take a quick walk around the Inner Bailey. This was the garrison for the 17 and 1800s for the military. Because of the threat of the Napoleonic Wars, Dover Castle became a stronghold. And it's been a stronghold kind of forever. It's known as the key to England, Dover and Dover Castle, because of close proximity to the continent. Look at that. I'll give you an up view. It looks very similar to the Tower of London, and I think it's built in the same vein with the same ragstone and brick. The rain is playing havoc with the GoPro. So yeah, back to the strategic battlements. Obviously, throughout medieval times, it saw wars. There was the Battle of 1200s, wasn't there, with King John and his lords and serfs, and they invited Louis the 16th, 14th. I knew it was a Louis. They invited him to become King of England, and he was King of England. He's not on the hierarchy, was he? Then you had the Napoleonic sieges. I don't think they ever came over. And then in World War II, it was also used as a strategic strong point, certainly in terms of the hospital, as well as the command room, the rescue at Dunkirk, and then throughout World War II. So we're nearly finished around the Inner Bailey. I think we might get in out of the rain into the Great Hall. Now the Great Hall is kind of like an audio-visual presentation showing the Angevins and who would become the Plantagenets. So I'm going to walk around it, maybe overlay some music or something, but I'm not going to talk, so let's just start a new chapter here. It was Louis VII.
Richard lost passport on the French
So yeah, Louis VII, King of England. Who knew, right? Okay, let's have a look at Princess of Wales Royal Regiment and the Queen's Regiment. Again, a walk around, I think, rather than me chatting and talking, because you can visually see something, and I can overlay some music, can't I? Rather fascinating, looking at the old history. The history of warfare? I don't know. Let's go in the Great Tower. Maybe we can get dry.
Thrown her hair over, look at she, someone will find out. She'd have really long hair to do that, wouldn't she? Big steps up.
Fascinating graffiti. And it kind of is dated because the lettering is all square, which makes me think centuries ago. Okay, we're in the keep. It's a fabulous keep. I don't know when it was, but English Heritage spent something like 2.45 million refurbishing the interior of the keep. Now, I know I visited here in the 90s, and they were just empty rooms, so it's really fascinating walking around, seeing how they used old tapestries to get the colours and kind of bring the thing to life. So I'm going to walk around. The tour actually follows through on floor 1, and then you go up the tower, then you do the top, then you come down the other tower, back to floor 2, and then the lower tower gets you back down to the kitchen. So I think it's just a case of walking through and showing you the interior of the keep. I wonder if I can do a whistle-stop tour rather than do it in 2 or 3 hours. Look at this. They're fixed, so you can't lift them up. Swords, etc. I love how they've done these little rooms out. It's what this been a billeting room for the soldiers? Fabulous. I think we then go into the Great Hall. Which has the King's throne. You can imagine the courtiers here, can't you? I don't know how bright this camera's going to show it up. I've got to do it, haven't I? King Tudor holding court. Where are my serfs? Where are my people? I have a vivid imagination. Right behind the throne leads us to the chapel. You can actually walk through, so there's a door there, leads to the next room, but you can go to the next room through here, but we'll do that in a moment. Let's go and have a look at the chapel. A chapel for the righteous few. If you weren't following God, then you were a heretic, right? And they'd burn you at the stake. And that's the bizarre thing, I think, with old customs and faiths, is that they built great structures, churches, cathedrals for God. And when they went into battle, they had God on their side. As did the enemy. They had their God on their sides. The crown jewels. Obviously replicas. So I've got here a bedroom. This is the thing that Tony Robinson's did. I leave a link when I was giving the intro. But they got all the colours and everything from tapestries. So actually we think of medieval England as being garish, but actually it was very colourful, wasn't it? And the beds, where they sat upright because they were afraid to lie flat in case the devil jumped into their mouths. Right, so let us follow the stairs. I think what I might do is speed the footage up because it's just round and round and round, isn't it? Right, here goes. And we're out onto the top of the Great Tower, which ordinarily would afford a great 360 panoramic view. However, as you can see, it's still foggy and rainy. There was a time you could actually get up onto these taller towers, but they've closed them off now. I'm up here by myself as people are leaving. Okay, so they've got some plaques here. We will see nothing. St. Mary and Castro Church. Can't say it. Pharos is a Roman lighthouse and the oldest building in the castle. Can't say it. Colton's Tower was the main entrance to the Middle Bailey. Middle Bailey, so there's actually 3 Baileys, inner, middle and outer. The curtain wall of the Middle Bailey, blah blah blah, Duke of Suffolk's lodgings. What can we see here? Point my camera out. Nope. I chose my day unwisely. I'll tell you the truth, I recorded this last weekend. I uploaded the video. It got to 99% processing and YouTube goes, cannot complete the process, please delete video. And I foolishly had deleted it off my hard drive, thinking I've got it uploaded now. Lesson learned, never delete your videos until they're completely ready on YouTube. So I'm out here again today to do it. But I didn't factor in the weather, did I? So let's go back inside. I was going to show you the 360 panoramic outlook. I'll turn the camera around. I've got it on the tripod. You just got to get out, haven't you? You just got to do it. Right, let's speed the camera up again. It's so noisy, but it is warm, so that's good. Right, where are we going? The banqueting hall. And what they've done, not only have they done it up and made it look really lovely with the tables and all the crockery and the finery, but they've got the sound effects as well. Chitter chatter as the king hosts all the dignitaries, all his lords. Lovely. Hog's Head. It's warm in here actually as well. So this has been the Queen's chamber. Got another bed, but it's smaller than the one upstairs. But you've got the children's bed next to the Queen's. You know the story of the string on a bed, right? Sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. And what they used to do, to make the bed firmer, they would draw the rope tighter to make it firmer. Sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. Say the prayers. So it looks special, doesn't it? Okay, one more flight of stairs gets us down to the medieval kitchen. And what they've done here, they've set out the kitchen as if it were a medieval kitchen. So they've provided all the kind of cutlery and the cooking implements to demonstrate what it would have looked like. I will take you down there in a moment. Now, I do much prefer visiting these old historic buildings when they keep them looking, okay, this is modern, right? But they keep them looking relatively similar to how it would have looked for the period. And I'm thinking Sudbury Hall, in my Pride and Prejudice video, which I did on my other channel, I visited the house to try and find the locations for inside Pemberley. There's a link to the video up here. But what they've done, they put like glitter balls and children's costumes, and they'd blacked out the rooms to make it look like it was like a disco and all this kind of stuff. And that video got a lot of comments based on the fact that how could they do such a thing? I want to visit these old buildings to try and relive, you know, what it was like then. And they turned it into a fiasco, in my opinion. But here at Dover Castle, they've actually done a really good job. Let's walk down and just have a look. Barrels for their ale, right? Do their laundry here? I would think. Unless they're stirring up some big soup. Is that a millstone? Grind the grain. Black pudding. I can't even begin to imagine what that is. It looks like sausage. So dietary hasn't really changed over the years, if that's medieval. They're still doing steaks and chops. Big old cauldrons. You can stir it up.
Have you seen that stand up there?
Oh no, look at it out there. I think it's going to be a bit wet. I might have to partake in a coffee. It wasn't supposed to rain till this afternoon. Weatherman got it wrong again. Anyway, that's the keep, and it's really quite fascinating. So we've done the inner bailey, the middle bailey with the castle. I think we can have a look at the Napoleonic fortifications. So jump to the next chapter. I only went and walked up there, didn't I? Thinking I'll take you to the medieval tunnels, which are fascinating and spooky because they're haunted. And it's closed off. Blimey. Is that because it's raining? I'm doing some work. So we'll walk down here, taking a few big cannons. Gosh, you just can't see anything today. This is supposed to be a haunted gate entrance. And yeah, I was just checking my camera's videoing it. It said that someone was buried alive within the walls or something. Peveril's Gate. Probably named after William Peveril, Constable 1066. Perhaps one of the main entrances to the castle in its medieval times. Ghosts of Dover Castle. There's the headless drummer boy who was privy to some smuggling type activities that were going on, and as he went down into the town of Dover, he was killed, had his head chopped off. But, you know, kids were part and parcel of garrisons and working. There was no child restrictions. Think of the Victorian era, you know, in the mills, little kids working. So the little drummer boy, he's supposed to stand up on the battlements of the castle and beat his drum whenever there's a threat of pending war or pending invasion. That's what they say. There's supposed to be a lady buried in the gatehouse tower. Now, the war rooms are purported to be haunted. I'm going to show you this little clip from the English Heritage.
We're in the secret wartime tunnels, deep under Dover Castle, within the White Cliffs. And this is where the Allied troops were rescued from the beaches of Dunkirk. And the whole operation was planned from this space. Some years ago, one of my colleagues was doing a tour when one of the members of his tour, a young man, fell down. But when the man got up, he was actually looking quite angry. When asked how he was, and he said he would have been okay if someone hadn't just walked through him.
Can you imagine that, walking through the war rooms to discover that somebody had knocked you over or walked through you? Well, spooky. And you wouldn't really know, you know, unless something like that happened. You might walk through the war rooms and think to yourself, there's a big party of people here, you know, there's 20, 25 of us. How many of them are ghosts? No, I can't get into the war rooms and the hospital. I can go in there today and, you know, get dry, but there's no filming. So I can overlay a couple of images here as I walk down towards the Nafe restaurant. And these are all coming off the internet, so, you know, I won't claim responsibility. I'll put copyright where I see it from the site that I've lifted it from. But people have taken photographs within the war tunnels. So on the left there is the Naffy restaurant. I might go in there in a short while, get myself a coffee in this dreary day. But on the right here are the Cinque Ports prison and garrison married quarters. That's what it says on the wall. Medieval, 18th and 19th centuries. A debtors' prison, later used as a garrison married quarters. But yeah, if you think about it, a castle is a stronghold. You're going to bring your captured enemy here, as well as, well, a debtor's prison, right? So who do you owe money to? You're going to prison. And any subordinates who have been in fights or have done something mischievous, for want of a better word, they would be imprisoned here, wouldn't they? Right, into the cells. Lovely 17th, 18th, 19th century buildings. Ooh, that Naffy restaurant's smelling good. I want to go in there, but I want to see the World War I Lookout Post first, so we'll jump to that next chapter now. So we finally arrive at the World War I Lookout Post. We've got a statue of Admiral Ramsay here, who oversaw the evacuation from Dunkirk, and also oversaw parts of D-Day. And down here, Operation Dynamo, the rescue of Allied forces from Dunkirk, May to June 1940. So we've got Dunkirk there, Calais and Boulogne, and these were the escape routes. Escape routes? English Channel. And actually over here it's showing the D-Day landings. Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno and Sword, all coming in from Portsmouth, Southampton and Shoreham. That was like a long stretch. You can see why they tricked the Germans into thinking we would attack from the shortest distance, because the shortest distance is 21 miles just across the coast there. Julius Caesar tried to come over, was it 34 BC? Something like that, 50 BC. And he failed. Claudius came over, 43 AD I believe it was, and he came over this way and then sailed up towards Sandwich, landed over on that Botany Bay and all of that area. Okay. So yeah, the reason I was saying that was because we fooled the Germans into thinking we were going to do D-Day at the shortest distance. So of course they sent out spies. There's a movie, isn't there, with Colin Firth, where it's based on a true story, where they took the corpse of a squaddy, put papers in him, dropped him in the Mediterranean somewhere. Germans picked him up, got the information or misinformation, and assumed we were going to land or do D-Day in Calais, but we did it further down. Right, let's look at this lookout post. Let's do this in reverse. So we've got the quarters for the lookout post. It's obviously manned 2 or 3 people here. 2 bunks for 2 squaddies, and the duty officer gets his own room. We've got the Morse code room here, look. Morse code. Save our souls. Come quickly, danger. Which means that I've got to do this, right? I don't think that's Morse code. Send a message to one another. Well, that one doesn't work. Transmitting equipment. Marconi, right? He must have had a hand in it. See my walk on the White Cliffs of Dover. Signals and communication. On watch for friend or foe. And here you can identify some World War I aircraft. They all look the same to me. Oh, phone's ringing. Someone get that phone. It's lovely that they've structured it out. I don't think you're going to get a view of any oncoming aircraft today. But then saying that, I don't think the enemy would be flying on a day like today. Right, let me just take you finally to the entrance of the war rooms and the gift shop. Not that I'm going to buy anything, but we can at least see what it's got. War tunnels uncovered. So I couldn't do the medieval tunnels, did the Roman Lighthouse, did the Great Tower, battlement walks and circular tour. I didn't do that either because it's raided. I did it last week, admittedly, but that footage is lost forever. So you come down here, see them queuing up for the hospital and Operation Dynamo Rescue from Dunkirk. So as you can see, they've got quite a queue. It's such a shame that we can't video down there, but I respect that. I'm not going to, surreptitiously hide a little camera and put it on here and then go and do some filming because someone's going to see it anyway, right? And then I'll get all sorts of blocked, YouTube restrictions. However, we can go through this tunnel, which leads down to the canteen, because they've got 3 or 4 canteens here. You've got the Naffy restaurant, you've got a little restaurant up in the keep, the Great Tower, and you've got one down here. Cliff Casements, which is where Napoleonic troops and everything would have stayed. Hey, at least we did one tunnel, right? Oh, what a view. Oh, here we go. Castle Casements, Underground Barracks, 1797 to 1814, Coastal Blockade Service, Combined Operation Headquarters and Regional Seat of Government. So it has been in use. 4-year gap there, 10-year gap, no, 100-year gap there. And after the war, it then came into service for the Cold War. It's had extensive use, hasn't it? Not a lot we can see out there. This is the entry. Welcome to the Secret Wartime Tunnels Uncovered exhibition. So do I get to see something under here? Oh, I'd forgotten about this. We can actually see a little more stuff. Soldiers and sailors of Dover Castle, 1816. Look at that handwritten letter. Coastal blockade man. Look at the musket. Ooh, handcuffs. 1819 gunner garrison artillery. Through here, I think this is the other canteen, which is not open. 1915, private soldier, 5th Battalion, Cinque Ports Royal Sussex Regiment. (1939) Wren's rating. Wren's outfit. Photos from, it says, Catherine Graham's photography album, Dover, winter 1945. Love that. 1960s, scientific officer, Royal Observatory Corps. Facilities down there. And, oh, what's this? Digging the tunnels. William Twiss, an army engineer, planned a barracks underground to solve the lack of troop accommodation in the castle and town. So he was the man. From barracks to storage. Armed Forces headquarters. You might have already seen that picture. Regional seat of government. After the Second World War, use of the tunnels declined through, although the Royal Navy was present until 58. In the 60s, tunnels were adopted for a very special new purpose. Dumpy Level, along with parts of the casement and annex, were re-equipped as a regional seat of government. Blah de blah de blah. Fully equipped and maintained, and exercises were carried out from here until 1984. It was then recognised as no longer safe from nuclear fallout and too expensive to convert. So they had the impression they would use it should there be a nuclear war. But it was only in 84. When did the Berlin Wall fall? The end of the Cold War, right? Effectively. Comment below. And then we've got a little shop selling trinketry and all types of books on World War 40s fashions. And of course, why would they not show Dover Castle as a place of war? Because that's what it's always been. I think only Henry II used it for showing off, didn't he? Chocolates and whatnot. Right, let's get out of here before I get accosted for using my camera. So I think I'll conclude the video here, sitting comfortably in this chair. Sounds like Jack and Ori, doesn't it? I should have started the video here. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I shall begin. So we got quite a few things done. We got the keep, we got the museum and the Great Hall, and the church and the lighthouse. I could have planned it better, but I just wanted to get out and do the castle. But it's been quite mysterious and mystical, and I've enjoyed doing that. So yeah, come along. If you're in the area, it's definitely worth, but give yourself 2 or 3 hours and be prepared to pay an astronomical sum. But when you think that this is potentially the biggest castle in England and it's being maintained, you can see why they would charge £26. There's so much to see. You could pay, I don't know, a tenner to go to Deal Castle and you cover it in 20 minutes, right? So for an extra 16. Or become a member if you're not a member. But I'm not, this video is not sponsored by English Heritage. So with that, I think, thanks for watching and bearing with, and I'll see you in another video. Don't forget to hit the like, because that will help the channel to grow. Maybe even subscribe. Bye for now.